it it's a mix because, I think
Marty never learns his lines. Everything you see is from him.
Yeah, I mean, I've always rewritten lines in movies and things, and then only recently I stopped doing that. And I did it because I guess it was easier to learn if I changed a word here and there. And Billy and I had a problem with a scene just right before the end of season 4. And we rewrote the scene over the weekend, sent it to the writers, and the writers, they gave us credit. Yes, it's good, your writing is good, but let's just keep it the same. And we really tried to make this scene. Both of us had a problem with the scene. And it was coming out of episode 10 in season 4, and I had the hardest time. And we ultimately it worked, I guess. But I stopped doing that with these writers because they're really good. But whenever we do have a problem, we can take it to them, and sometimes they'll say, okay, do it your way. And you'll change a word here and there. But by and large, their writing is good, which is why everybody likes the show. Yeah. It's really good writing, and we've all been part of movies that were dreadfully written. And God knows you wonder why they ever got made. He does, but it's nonstop action, and pictures work for that reason too. So, I try not to rewrite much in Cobra Kai, and they give me these big speeches, and I'm pontificating a lot, but it's written well. And if I can learn the lines easily, that means it's written well. When you have a tough time learning a line, usually it's poorly constructed. Go ahead, what would you say?
That's good notes. I mean, our job is, first of all, you're an actor, so you're not saying things, like your character isn't saying things the way you would say it. So you may read a line and go, it'd be better to say it this way, it comes off my tongue better this way. It's the same meaning, but I want to do it this way. But that's the default. That's a cop-out. That's a crutch. What you're really supposed to do is you're supposed to go and get the muscle memory on your tongue for the way that this line is written. Because usually by the time it gets to you, it's gone through the writer's room, it's gone through studio notes, it's gone through network notes, it's gone through all the producers, all the writers, and now you have it. So if you think you're gonna come here and fix everything, so first you gotta do it and serve it that way. If there's an intention, or for me, it's not a word, it's more of an idea, and how that idea connects to, like, I don't think Johnny would do this. I think Johnny, that's too much for that. No, then we'll redo the whole thing. But as far as the words go, it's pretty much important, at least to get it nailed the way it was written, and then play with it. As far as improvising, once you're in the pocket and you're nailing it, then they're like, just go with it. And then you can have a lot of fun and do that, Paul Walter Hauser, who plays Stingray, is great with that. Like, remember him in the Home Depot, and he's like, aren't you? That guy's so funny, and he's so quick. So he just riffed a whole bunch of different things, like, where were the 80s when this happened and that happened? As an actor, your job is to say the text, and sometimes that's the work. It's not comfortable sometimes to say things. Sometimes you don't even want to say them because you're like, that hurts to say it. Like Johnny wouldn't say it, it's uncomfortable. But that's the job, and that's what's great. So, for me and Marty, all of us I died of Billy. Billy's gone. When I play Johnny Lawrence, I have to wake up 3 months later and kind of find me again, because I will go right into this guy, and trust the words, and trust the actors, So for me, that's the journey. That's the work as an actor. It's like, I want to do it my way. I want to do it this way, but they have it constructed a certain way. I owe it to serve that first. And then there's movies you do, like Marty said. I did a movie one time in Bulgaria. It was the biggest PO's ass. And I got there, no joke, and I got the script. I won't say what movie it was, but I got there and I said to the producer, I said, this is the worst script I ever read. I said, can I make some tweaks? He says, go have at it. So I sat in the production office and rewrote the whole thing, and they shot it. Yeah. So they didn't care. They just wanted to make their movie. But on something like this, Karate Kid, this kind of caliber, you know it's been vetted. How I Met Your Mother, like you don't mess with a word. Like if I came on How I Met Your Mother and said, I have an idea, like there's like an army of like, I mean, when you do a table read for How I Met Your Mother, they got a big table and there's Neil, there's the whole cast, the director, all the producers, the network. I mean, you're surrounded in a room and it's like a stadium and you're surrounded and you're at a table. And if you decide you want to like, you know, you never have an idea. So I learned on that show, like, I'm not gonna say, I'm just gonna say what they write and they know what they're doing, you know. Maybe when you're the star of the show, then you can play around with it like we do now. You know,
It's really funny because I did the Goldbergs, same thing, and you don't mess with a well-oiled machine, you know. And God, you know how many times we had this discussion the first time you did How I Met Your Mother, and you know Billy had the same thing I did. We walk into a set, we have a reputation, we can fix this. I'm pretty good fixing a script. He writes, so he knows what he's doing. But you can't go in there when you're dealing with people who just know what they're doing. And you never really know that until down the line. You know, our writers know what they're doing. How I Met Your Mother, the writers know what they're doing. They look at you like, you want to change something? Yeah, you know, sweep the leg. You know, it's like, and you know, you basically just shut up and you just do what you're told, and it usually works out better. It does. Even with those flashbacks and stuff you saw of Vietnam, I had a whole list when I went to see them for season 2, and I met with mercenaries, I met with Army Rangers, met with all these people to discuss the flashbacks. And these guys are so astute. We sat in a hotel in a restaurant in Beverly Hills, and they said, we did that already. We've made that note. We have it all set up. It'll be in season 3, blah, 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 blah. And when you're dealing with characters who create your show, who are that astute, all you can do is shut up and say their words. That's an easy one. I've always wanted to be a time traveler. Go back to the days of the Alamo, back to the days of Rome, of, you know, Old West. I would love, but always to have the option, and I thought about this as a kid all the time, always to have the option to return if I didn't like it, you know. So, but that was real for me until I found out there was no such profession as a time traveler. Then that's when I shaded into acting.
More of a hobby.
Yeah. More of a hobby.
I would be, if I wasn't acting, well, here's the funny thing, like, you're not an actor if you're a working actor, I guess the thing, because I was always an actor. So I'd always be an actor. You know, even if I wasn't in something, I'd be doing funny stuff somewhere. But I would be trying to be a professional actor. That's what I'd be doing. If I wasn't already a professional actor, I'd be trying to, until maybe I'd never make it, but I would keep trying. And then, but I'd also be a filmmaker because I was going to film school. I write and direct and produce. So anything creative behind the lens. I also play guitar, wanted to do some guitar in my life, but not in a band, you know, like studio stuff. Yeah, but just, you know, my dad always told me a secret. He said, you know, find something you love to do and try to make a living at it, and you'll never work a day in your life. So do something that fulfills you, you know, find something that makes you feel you, and you know, and then it's not so much work. It's a lot of work, but at least you're liking it, you know, if you're lucky to do that. So if you have dreams, I encourage them. Listen, I was 17, I graduated high school. Never in a million years thought I could see my life and I'd be here with you guys talking about it. It was just, I'm just a kid writing my name on math papers, you know. But your dreams can happen, you know, or for all of us, you know. It's not, we're a special two up here. It's like, we're all the same, you know. You just see us on TV. Or two for sure in that. They're all good. You know, we have a great stunt crew, a great stunt team. These guys are really innovative. We did Karate Kid. It was pretty much 2 styles. I learned Tang Soo Do, which is a Korean style. Ralph learned Okinawa Te, which is a defensive soft style. And we pretty much stuck to that. So, but now, today in martial arts in general, it's mixed. It's a little bit of everything, right? So our choreographers are bringing in different kinds of moves from different kinds of styles. So that's really been fun in every single fight. to play with new things, and the idea is that Johnny's picked up some things along the way, like when Kreese says, "I taught you everything you know," and Johnny says, "Not everything," and did this kind of wheel kick from the ground and kicked the cigar out of his mouth. That's a new, I forgot the style that is, but that was like a different style. So we're learning stuff, new moves and new stuff too, so it's all exciting. You know, I love in the first episode of season 1, the fight with the teenagers in the parking lot so far is my emotional favorite one. It's been most, I think, fulfilling, because that was the first time Johnny Lawrence pulled out his weapons since 1984 or 5, you know. So the emotional part of that and protecting this kid kind of set the tone of who Johnny is and why he's doing it. So I really enjoyed that. I love fighting with Marty in season 2. We had a great fight at the beginning when you know, he comes in and we have our fight. We worked really hard on that one and moved really fast. I think I jammed my toe one time in his foot because I was moving in on him and he didn't back up in time, or I moved too quick and, you know, my toe completely jammed inside.
Moved too quick.
Yeah, those happen, by the way. We're all behind. I moved too quick. You know, and so my toe jammed inside, and I got a stunt guy standing over there, and let me see you guys. And and he was ready to jump in, but we want to do our own stunts, because there's a difference. If you see a stunt guy doing the fight, sometimes it comes off and it looks like, you know, a video game, like some really great technical martial artist, like Street Fighter or something, which is great. But what we're bringing to it, Ralph, all of us, is character in the martial arts, because martial arts is unique to each person. So as much as possible, I want to do it, even if it's a little slop, this and that, it's all on purpose. You know, I jammed my toe, hobbled over to the side, and literally yanked my toe out, and didn't tell anybody. But I mean, the electricity that went up my leg, if you ever had that happen, was not fun. But yeah, we do that. We get very physical. We're every fight we're doing.
Do you get injured a lot? Because they are very physical roles.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, not injured, but like, for instance, the fights with Daniel, with me and Ralph in my apartment, where I kick him into the TV. That fight was a lot bigger than they cut together at the end. But you know, he's got really good blocks. Like Ralph in real life, he's been doing that since 1983. You know? And he's got these great like pop weapons, and his arms are they're like a baseball bat. So every time I go to do a punch, it's like bam. It's like, dude, chill. Boom, damn, dude, chill. So by the end of the day, I'm like, literally, I have pictures, and we haven't posted them yet, but both of our arms from here to here is just bruises.
Wow.
And it literally feels like you just took your arm and slammed it against a pole, because we shoot this stuff over and over and over. So yeah, it's very physical. We move very fast. On Karate Kid, we didn't have any of that because we had so much time to practice. We had 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, learning those fights exactly, specifically. And we never really, except one time, had one little slip up at the fence fight where I round kicked Ralph in the face. It's fine. Got over it. But you know, but we never got close, because when we did Karate Kid, we had pads on to start, and he would be back 2 or 3 feet from me, and I'd be back 2 or 3 feet from him, and we would use pads, and then we would get closer and closer and closer until the pads were literally barely grazing each other. And then after weeks, months, then we would take the pads off. So literally all that stuff, we never had one accident in any of that fighting. On this show, we're more prone to having clashes because it moves so fast. We learn these fights sometimes the same day, and we have to shoot them at such a high rate of speed. So it's very physical. Everybody's getting a little bit of a ding, but it's fun. It's cool. It feeds us.
And you're a little bit older from the movie.
No, I'm not. Yeah, a little bit.
You guys are great.
A little bit. Hey, listen, we're doing our best. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Quiet! And sweep the leg. That was for you, Chloe.
I think when I first meet you, the real story's only just begun. I just love that line. You know, I say it in my sleep. I say it to my girlfriend.
That's his answer machine.
I just
Leave a message.
saying it. You know, say it to my kids. You know. But I think that's my favorite line from the show. You know, favorite line is, it's really, you know, no mercy, or when I wipe your nose. I mean, when I wipe your nose it just, the look, I think I say, sweep the leg. You have a problem with that. It just, the rich part, which as an actor, a lot of great words are said between lines, you know. And when you read a script and the emotions between the dialogue, between the lines, often is so rich when the scene is so right. And that scene was so right that God knows we've seen it so many times, in trailers. But when I wiped your nose and I said, "Do you have a problem with that?" And there it is.
What do you do? Look at he looks at you like that.
You know.
You have to say no, sensei.
You know, it's just terrific. You know, and finish him. I like that finish him, which we did. The director John Avildsen, we did it in the soundstage while we were just looping. And finish him was said originally quietly. You know, finish him. And then John said, "No, blurt it out." And a lot of people like that line too. You know, finish him. You know, it was like I say it in my sleep again. But that's the dialogue I like.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Well, we were all surprised to see the trailer. They did it. We couldn't believe it. When they approached us. So for me, they approached me before Ralph. I think when they were coming up with the story, the three creators of the show took me to a restaurant and said, "We have an idea for a movie." I knew these guys because I worked with one of the writers on Hot Tub Time Machine, and the other two created Harold and Kumar, and I knew them, and I always felt like we'd be working together someday. Didn't know on what. They emailed me and said, "Hey, we have an idea for a project. Let's go get some lunch." And so I thought, okay, maybe Harold and Kumar 5 or something, or Hot Tub 4 or something like that. And they said, okay, Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence. So they pitched him. They pitched season 1 to me in its entirety over a bowl of chips, and my head was spinning. And I couldn't. And I said, okay, what's the tone of this? Is it funny? Is it serious or heartfelt? It's all those things. One way they sold it to me was they said if there was no such thing as Karate Kid, we could call this Bad Sensei, like Bad Santa, and you would be the Bad Sensei. And then I got where they were going with it. So it was tentative at first. I was, this is a long time ago we did Karate Kid, so to come back with an idea like this was very big, and to get myself too invested in it would have been hard if it didn't work out. So I held it lightly, Ralph held it lightly, and then we went out and developed it and pitched it. And so it was exciting though, the whole time. I mean, I felt like when we finished that lunch, I felt like literally like the character of Johnny Lawrence like opened a crusty eye, and I could see it, and held up a bottle of beer, and I'm like, here he is. So like that was it. But we were really careful, all of us, going into this to do something that was relevant for today. That was going to be on the point, because if this thing failed, it could have been a total train wreck. So we were all very careful and cautious about that. And the writers have they're the super fans of Karate Kid.
And we'll see you back in the line in 5 minutes. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, Martin, Kove, and William Zabka! Make sure that you visit them at their booths, and you can pick up an autograph as well. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the con, everybody.